Horizon Realms is finally here, coinciding with the release of Forza Horizon 5 on the PlayStation 5 for the first time, and containing 4 new cars, as well as the latest Nissan Retro Rides paid car pack. I did already put out a video on the Lamborghini Revuelto and the Huracan Starato, if you want to take a closer look at those. For today though, I'm going to be focusing on the other 2 new vehicles, the humongous Hennessey Mammoth and the fantastic Lotus Exige Cup 430, both available to unlock by completing some new Realms-themed accolades. There are actually 45 new accolades in total, 4 of which are to unlock the new vehicles. These can be found by opening up the pause menu, selecting accolades, where 3 of them will be under the new Horizon Realms section, where, as you can see, to unlock the Hennessey Mammoth, you must complete skill mode in 1 of the 12 realms. To unlock the Lotus Exige Cup 430, you must complete skill mode in 6 of them. And to unlock the Lamborghini Huracan Starato, you must complete skill mode in all realms. To unlock the Revuelto though, you need to go into the separate road racing tab under accolades, where you can see you simply need to win a race at the new Horizon Stadium circuit. So after completing skill mode in just 1 Horizon realm, I had unlocked the Hennessey Mammoth. This is an impressive machine, but to me it's not actually all that interesting, as I find it a bit similar to all the other 6-wheeled trucks we already have in the game, and in Forza that just isn't the sort of thing that I tend to enjoy driving, really. Forza themselves even decided not to bother writing anything about this one in their article about this update over on their website, but they did for the other 3 cars. Back at the festival then, let's start by taking a look at the manufacturer colours. There's of course the silver that it comes in, a white, a red, a grey, a blue, and this rather fantastic orange, which of course is what I'm going to put on mine. There is also advanced painting options, so we can go and look at Group 2, which is, for some reason, just this lower panel, extending all the way to the back here, and it removes the nice graphics on the side, so I'm not going to do that, but that is an option if you wish. There are a number of quite interesting upgrade options and engine swaps. So let's start with the engine swaps. The stock engine produces 1012 horsepower. You can put in a racing V6, which takes power down to 914. You can put an 8.9 litre V8 in, taking power up to 1,500, or a 7.4 litre V8 twin turbo, taking power up to 1,750 horsepower, because that seems necessary. You can also rear-wheel drive swap it if you, for some reason, wanted to do that, although I don't know if that's to the 2 rear wheels or the 4 rear wheels. There are some aero and appearance options. At the front you can essentially make it look like the normal Ram rather than the Mammoth 6x6, and it's the same at the back. However, if we go here, we can put a big wheel in the truck bed, and because the truck bed is quite so massive, there's still space to put stuff and things as well as that, rather than it just being to carry that. And then again, for the side skirts, we can put the Ram sort of plastic things back on that have been removed to turn it into the Mammoth. I think I'm just going to put that in, because that is quite incredible. Then we've got all of the usual tyre width options, and being a truck, we can put it on some big beefy tyres, so I'm going to do that because that looks pretty incredible. Then we've got your usual drivetrain options: clutch, transmission, driveline, and diff. And in platform and handling, we can do brakes, suspension, which is only off-road and doesn't really do all that much, anti-roll bars, which I will do just because I sort of always do, chassis reinforcement, and weight reduction, which can take weight down from 3.5 tons to just over 2.5 tons, which is a pretty massive saving, but it's still a pretty massive truck. Then there's a few power options, as you might expect, to upgrade the standard engine. If we quickly apply all of these, we can get power up to 1,312 horsepower just using the standard engine. I think I'm just going to leave it with the wheel in the truck bed though, and the increased tyre sizes. I did then take the Hennessey Mammoth straight up the Volcano just to see how it handled it. Obviously it drove straight up it because it's Forza and you can do that in just about any car, but it did it without going very fast. Usually you have to build up momentum and just speed up, This just kind of trundled up and nothing would stop it, but it did sort of fall off the other side. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's go and take a look at the car that I've been most looking forward to out of these 4 new ones, the Lotus Exige Cup 430. This brilliant version of the Exige produces 430 horsepower, as the name would suggest, but being incredibly light, that is enough to get it from 0 to 60 in just over 3 seconds, which isn't bad at all. This is probably the only one of the 4 that really ever had a chance to be competitive in any way in online racing here in Horizon 5, and it's by far my favourite of the 4 cars anyway. Although given it starts up in S1 class, it's not looking like it's going to be competitive brought down to A, and in S1 it's probably going to struggle for power. Apart from anything though, it is just nice to have a newer Exige in the game, let alone the Cup 430. So then, back at the festival, let's take a look at paint options again to begin with. There's the red that it comes with, there's white, there's a silver, there's a blue, there's a matte black, and there's a green, all of course with those red accents still there. For me it was between the green and the blue, but I think I'm going to go for the blue because it's sort of like that Essex livery that they put on some of the old Esprits back in the day. So let's go for that. You may also notice there are advanced painting options, which basically means you can, if you want to, paint those accents, which is really cool. You could do it in like a yellow or something, although I think given the interior has red seat belts and we have red tow hooks and stuff, I am going to have to stick with red for this. I'm going to go for this slightly brighter red though, because then if we go over to brake calipers, we can paint them in exactly the same red. Which I think looks pretty fantastic. The other thing I'm sort of tempted to do with this, but I'm probably not going to do it, is do it with the red wheels, because I think that is an option you can do on these. You know what? I think I'm going to go for it. Over in the upgrade shop, there are several engine options if you want to put V8 or a V10 into your Lotus for whatever reason, or if you want to all-wheel drive convert it, or put some twin turbos in. That does increase power quite substantially if you want some power gains. Here in the Aero though, things get interesting. There is a Lotus front bumper, and you may notice it says race front bumper, which means you can tune the downforce if you equip this option, which is kind of tempting, although I think it looks better standard because you've got these nice little red accents. But if you wanted to make it, tune it for some racing, that is an option you can do. It's not only at the front either, there are 2 Lotus rear wings, both of which have downforce tuning, and I think I might go for the second one, because I've gone for the red wheels. I've kind of gone with more of a red accent than you'd have from standard, and this has those rather cool red supports, so I'm going to go with that. Then tyres and rims are all as you would expect. We can, if we want to, bring our track width out a bit to fill those arches, which fill quite nicely with full width added. Then under drivetrain we have clutch, transmission, driveline and diff, as we have with everything else. Brakes, we can put race brakes on, which I might actually do. And then we've got off-road or drift suspension, so it's clearly already on race. There's no anti-roll bars either, so it's obviously already got those. We've got roll cage and weight reduction if you want to take it even closer to... You know what, if we do that and then we go on flywheel, I reckon we... Ooh, it's still 1,002. I reckon we can get this to under 1,000. There we go. Race driveline as well. It is then under 1,000 kilos. We can get it even lighter, 994. We're simplifying and adding lightness to a car that's already simple and light, but I think that looks pretty stunning. The red wheels might not be to everyone's taste, they're a bit over the top, but I think those with the red supports on the wing and all the other red accents look really cool, and the fact we've managed to get it to under 1,000 kilos is pretty impressive. And I also love that we have adjustable Lotus Aero rather than having to fit Forza Aero if we want that adjustability. So it does have potential maybe in S1, but I don't really like racing in S1, so I think I'm going to leave it sitting where it is in S1 class as its stock performance, rather than upgrading it for anything. With the weight under 1,000 kilos and this rather bright paint scheme applied to the Lotus, I went out and drove it for a bit, well, actually for quite a lot longer, because I was absolutely loving this thing. As you might expect, I was excited for this thing, it drives really well, has some cool upgrades, I've just absolutely loved it, so yeah. Nothing could really stop me driving this thing around. That, though, is going to be all for today's video, taking a look at two of the brand new cars that arrived as part of the Horizon Realms update, the Hennessey Mammoth and the Lotus Exige Cup 430, which I have to say is by far my favourite of the four brand new vehicles, however cool those two Lamborghinis were. There is already a video on those up on the channel if you want to take a closer look at the two Lamborghinis though, but for today's video that is going to be all. As ever, do let me know your thoughts on the Horizon Realms update, as well as these four new vehicles, but for today's video that is going to be all, so thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with the next one very soon.